Welcome back to Cougar Creations. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Charlotte.
Today we're going to be talking about our 2025 graduating seniors, Nathan, Jayden, and Kevin.
And we're also going to be speaking to our teachers about their time here.
First, we're going to go talk to Jayden.
Welcome back to Cougar Creations. I'm Jayden here with Jayden Smith. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm great. So you're graduating from Radio TV, from Greenfield-Central this month. And as a member of the Radio TV program for a good amount of time, you made a lot of memories and learned a lot of new skills. So today we're going to talk about your time in Radio TV. So starting off, you began your Radio TV journey when you were a freshman.
Yep.
And what influenced you to take this class?
Mainly just I've been wanting to do broadcasting and photography, and that's been able to help me. Plus, I'm a big sports guy, so being able to do the sports side of it has helped me a lot.
So when you first kind of, were deciding whether you want to take the class or not, what did you think of it when you started out? Did you see yourself committing to it?
Mainly when I looked at it, I was like, I've always wanted to, my thing has been I want to be a broadcaster. It doesn't matter like what sport. I really would hope for like basketball or football. Yeah. But it has helped me gain a lot of skills that I didn't know I could get, and it's helped me, help me with my camera work, how I should be editing, how I should be doing voiceovers. It's helped me with a lot.
So what were some of your favorite projects that you did in your time here at Radio TV?
Probably my two favorites are either the documentaries, because I've done a lot. I mean, I had one where I did Tom Brady, quit halfway through it, and then went back and finished it. That was probably my worst one, just because of the fact that I got out of it like halfway through it because did not want to do it anymore because it was so long. And then either that or the music video where we did Blinding Lights.
So kind of going back to that kind of question, what were some of your favorite memories that you had in Radio TV?
Probably my favorite memory is when we, freshman year, when we did our Christmas skit. I was Rudolph, but throughout the entire thing I had a big sign on my neck the entire time, and it was heavy.
So I know you've done a little bit of nice sort of stuff with Radio TV. How has it helped you with your Radio TV skills from, doing like projects to whatever? How has it helped you?
It's helped me be able to, figure out where my camera shots are supposed to be, how I should be pacing the camera movements as well, and doing the 9-star stuff. It's like, it varies depending on which sport you are. Like some sports you have to go fast, some sports you have to go slow. But it just helps with a lot of camera work.
So what were some of kind of like the challenges with that, maybe, each specific sport that you faced?
It's like with football, at first I was wanting to follow the ball like through the air the entire time. But then once you learn you don't do that, you follow the ball, but you try and follow it to which receiver it's going to and try and catch that shot in real time.
So learning under Mr. Holtzclaw and Hudson for, your time at Radio TV, you learned a lot. And how did that help you with 9-star? Like what they taught you and how did that transition?
They've helped me, they've given me my feedback, what I should work on. Using that feedback, I've, gained a lot more skills, fixed what I've needed to fix. Obviously, I still have to fix more. But they have helped me gain those skills, and it's just been a huge help throughout my entire, broadcasting time here.
Yeah. So since you are leaving us soon, what are your plans for after high school?
I'll be joining the United States Army. I'm going to do military police and then specialize in K-9.
When do you ship out? Is that the right term?
I think it's September 8th.
Are you excited for that? So, it's kind of...
Yeah.
This will be a big, change,
Yeah, they'll pay for my college.
Paid, right? So are you going to go for college for radio TV stuff?
Yeah, more than likely.
That's very cool. What's the one piece of advice you would give to a new radio TV student, so freshman or first year?
Definitely don't take feedback as an insult. Use that feedback to, drive yourself to want to make your projects look better. Use that feedback to drive yourself to, do better than what you did before.
Awesome. So thanks for talking with me, and thanks for your time in the program.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Cougar Creations. I'm here with Mr. Holtzclaw. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, Claire?
I'm good. With Jayden graduating here soon, let's talk about his time in the radio TV program. So, on the first day of class, what were your first impressions of Jayden?
Well, that was his freshman year, which was your freshman year as well, so 3 years ago now. I don't really know if I remember a whole lot. He seemed kind of quiet at first. But obviously he opened up a little bit more. He was very sports-oriented, and being a sports guy myself, it's always easy to connect with people doing that kind of stuff. So I would just say that probably initial thoughts were he's probably wearing something Colts-related, things like that. So I probably was able to talk to him about either that or maybe video games, something like that. So I don't fully remember, I can't say, but I know he's a sports guy, and it's always good to have another sports guy around here.
Cool. If you were to describe Jayden in one word, what would it be?
In one word, passionate, especially, again, about sports. He'll come up to me and start reciting different stats that I don't remember asking about or anything like that, but he would just be like, Mr. Holtzclaw, did you see, and he goes on about some random stat. I go, no, Jayden, because I don't care about the Oklahoma City Thunder, or I don't care about the Detroit Lions like that, I'm sorry to say. But, I mean, it's funny to see that kind of stuff, and I'm glad he has that passion for that kind of stuff, and I think he'll be able to use that to his advantage, especially as he moves on later on in life with whatever kinds of things that he decides to pursue or whatever else.
You've been able to observe Jayden's growth over time. What do you think of his development over his time in the program?
Yeah, so early on, I mean, definitely wasn't as strong with his work ethic. I remember helping him out with his podcast. Like, he just wanted to do something sports related as well, talking about Colts, things like that. And it was so difficult to get him to talk to people for some reason. And so it just took a while, but we did get there in the end. This year especially, came back after his year away with his academy work, with going into military school and everything else like that. And so he came back this year very passionate about, ready to do more stuff. So this year he's been more working towards doing everything on camera or behind the scenes, things like that. I mean, he's done a couple interviews this year that have been pretty solid interviews, especially considering his first interview was a little rough around the edges, and we like to go back and look at that just because of how things kind of ended with that one, with his ending kind of just being looking back at the camera and just going, well, that's it. I'm sure you remember that too.
I do.
So it was just seeing the growth from like his on-air presence going from there to now he's very aware of things and able to get full conversation going with like coaches or whatever else.
It's amazing. What is your favorite memory you've had with Jayden so far?
My favorite memory with Jayden. I don't know if there's any one specific that really comes to mind. Again, just all the times that he kind of has different things going on with sports recognition, things like that. I really enjoyed seeing his interview with the golf coach this past year, the women's golf coach. We went out to Hawkstail and we got everything set up that way. He actually dressed up for it. He looked nice for that occasion, and then he was able to get a very solid interview across with someone that was brand new to the organization. So it was very good to get that, and I really appreciate having that kind of work because she was new to everything. So establishing that kind of rapport with her early on really helps build our program. It helps establish things like that. So I think that's probably one that really comes to mind, not to mention the fact that it was like after school hours where we had to like go and do things on our own, and he was willing to do that and was willing to take those extra initiative. So I really appreciate that kind of stuff.
Lastly, what is your final send-off piece to Jayden?
Just keep going at it. Keep trying your best with everything you do. I know he's going into the military and doing some active duty here in a little bit. So I hope he's still able to keep that passion with all of his favorite things in life, sports. I think he really enjoyed doing radio and TV stuff, so I hope he's able to continue doing that kind of stuff. But just keep that energy going, keep the passion, and then do your best in all facets of life, whatever that might be, because I mean, he's going to go on and do that, and then afterwards he's planning, I think, on going to college for a little bit, things like that. So, I think he's going to have a successful career ahead of him, whatever that might be.
All right. Thanks for sitting down and talking with me about Jayden's radio TV journey.
Of course, Claire.
And now we're going to head over and talk to Kevin.
Welcome back to Cougar Creations. We have Kevin here, and I'm going to talk to him about his time in radio TV over the years. How are you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So what made you want to join radio TV?
Well, I've always had just this inspiration of film. I loved movies when I was growing up as a kid, and what really got me into wanting to make videos and stuff was when I was younger, I would watch these videos of other kids playing with their plushies in front of a camera and stuff, and I was like, I want to do that, so I made a YouTube channel of me doing that, and it got pretty popular, and then something happened. I had to switch phones, so I needed to start a new YouTube channel, and I wasn't like inspired to do anything for it until I got into junior high woodworking class. And that class, I didn't know it used to be a film class, but they just reconstructed it into a woodworking class. And we had an assignment where we had to make a video instructing like how to use teamwork or something in the woodworking class. And the woodworking teacher, I think his name is Mr. Spencer at the time.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, he let me and my friends go into the back of the room that was used for like the film that they used to make for the junior high, and he just allowed us to make whatever kind of show we wanted for that assignment. And we created this show called Basic Morning News, which is just this entire chaotic group of like people coming together to try to tell some kind of story. Whether it be like teaching a lesson of like how to use the equipment there safely, or just how to work as a team. But it would always end up as like something that wasn't basic. It was kind of like a play on words. You'd think it's basic morning news, but then at the end there's like screaming and throwing stuff at each other. Yeah. And I heard he actually used the videos to instruct like future classes. So it's good to know that my work is being used like that.
Yeah. So what is has your opinion been of this class overall?
At first I was a little like shy because I didn't really know anybody in the class, and I'm not used to like getting to know people off of the bat. But as I grew more of growing into the class, I went from just not liking it as much because I was like scared of being in front of the camera, because I've always been behind of it until in junior high I was in front of it for a while, to just being more of a extroverted in this kind of thing. Like outside of film, I'm still an introvert by heart, but in film I'm just talking all the time and trying to get along with everybody so I can make a great experience for everybody.
What has been the most difficult part of high school?
I think the most difficult part of high school has just been keeping up with my grades. I've never had an F in this class, but I struggle in some others because it's just, I think life gets away from me and it's hard to keep up. Something will happen outside of school and it'll make me behind for like the rest of the semester, it feels like. So that's just been the biggest struggle for me.
What memory of high school will forever be in your heart?
I think a memory in high school that will always be in my heart will just be the experiences I had with my friends, just having fun, the in-between class moments, or like there was parts where I would have a class with just that specific person that made that class go from boring to just the fun class always, that I'd look forward to it. I've always had that one class every like semester and year of high school. So that's probably what's made it a good experience for me.
Is there anything in high school you wish was done differently?
Maybe, I think the phone rule, maybe. Because in my opinion, if a kid's gonna be on their phone, just let them fail. If they're not willing to show that they want to put in the work to like focus and lock into their work, then that's their problem. It shouldn't be on the teachers to have to make the kids focus. That the kids should want to focus on their own. They need to, because if they want to succeed in life, they're gonna have to put in the effort. It can't just be something that's hand-wrapped and given to them. So I think if there was no phone rule, then it would really teach kids that they have to like work on themselves if they want to succeed in life.
Yeah. What advice would you give to incoming freshmen who are taking radio TV?
Well, I know for a fact that my brother is going to be an incoming freshman that's going to join radio and TV. And he just needs to get over his like stage fright and any problems he has with like talking in groups, because my younger brother, his name is Colin, he's going to be joining next year. He does amazing when it's just himself behind the camera, but like if he's in a group of people that he doesn't know, then he gets quiet or awkward. I think you get rid of the stage fright. It's going to be hard, but you just have to like power through it, in my opinion. The more you do it, the more you get experience with it. I think the most memorable experience that will be for incoming freshmen is your first interview that you have inside the first studio A.
I remember that.
That's like, in my opinion, the most memorable experience, besides other projects, of course, but like that first time that you're on the stage and the lights are on you and you brought in whoever you brought in, like your mom, your dad, your friend. I hope my brother brings in me. It's just, it's a really memorable experience for them, because it's like you're official up there, you got your questions and you're trying your hardest to like look at them and memorize what you read so you can ask that to them. So just keep your confidence is the advice I'd give them.
Who did you bring in for that interview?
I brought in my mom for my first interview, and then my second time I brought in my grandpa.
How was that?
It was good. My mom's a nurse, so she talks a lot. If you got someone with like a high working job and you interview them, they're going to talk forever.
Yeah. What were some of your favorite projects in the radio TV class?
I think, I know everybody says this, but like the documentary projects were my favorite. In an unpopular opinion, I really liked the Foley projects. I loved seeing all the sounds and like remixing certain ones to make a sound like that, because we did like the Marvel one. And I enjoyed like there's a part where like the spaceships fly over and I turned like a slot machine turning and I slowed it down really slow so it sounded like an actual ship like soaring over their head. I just enjoyed like putting all the pieces together for that. It felt like a puzzle was given to me and I had to like rearrange it so I can make it look like this picture. The documentary part of it, I just like talking about stuff and my interests. I feel like outside of school I'm going to start making more documentaries just for the fun of it, because when I see those kinds of videos on YouTube, I'm just captivated. They'll be like 2 hours long and I'm like, this is going to be the next 2 hours for me.
Yeah. Who'd you do for your documentary?
My first documentary was about the band Gorillaz and the story they have within it.
Yeah.
And then my second one was Back to the Future, which I think is my strongest documentary I've ever made, because it breaks down the film into its like core elements of like what they did behind the scenes, the story, what they had to do differently, and it doesn't just talk about like the first movie, it talks about all three of them. And then I also go into the aspects of how it affects media and the references that other media has made because of the show. So that's probably my favorite too, is the documentary and the Foley project.
So what are your plans for after high school?
Well, currently I don't really have a plan. I know most people got it set up, but I want to take a year where I can figure out what exactly I want to do, because I've been pretty set on wanting to do film, but I've also thought about using other aspects that I'm interested in to pursue in life. Like, I've always wanted to be a coder too on top of that, but maybe I could mix of both, like have a video game that it's like a film. A lot of video games have storytelling that are like, you're basically watching a movie. There's like hour-long cutscenes, and I like that part. So I could probably incorporate film and code into like one big project.
So you want to do a gap year?
Yeah, that's my main plan, is to figure out what I want to do. Maybe not a full gap year, maybe just a half a gap year, because you can always join college even if it's late.
Exactly. Do you have any parting words before you graduate?
My parting words would just be, make sure that you make your high school years unforgettable for yourself. You don't want to just sleep away at them. You want to make sure that they're memorable experiences for you so you can look back on them in the future.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for sitting down with me, and thank you for all you've done for us.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm here with Mr. Hudson, and I'm here to talk with him about what he thinks of Kevin. So what was your first impression of Kevin?
Kevin came to us as a sophomore, and he was very quiet, like a lot of new kids are in radio TV. I think he had some pretty good skills in editing, but he used to get extremely nervous about doing interviews. I do remember that. His first couple interviews, he was just very nervous. So I would say technical ability was pretty good to go, but getting him to come out of his shell, I knew was going to be like a 3-year process.
So how would you describe Kevin?
I would describe Kevin as very kind, very considerate. Kevin is very easy to be around, very easy to work with. Kevin had the opportunity to work on some films that we had here made at school, and he just blended perfectly in with a cast and crew of professionals, and that was very cool to see because they really appreciated him. They really just took to him. So that just kind of shows how well he's able to, interact with people, work with different kinds of people. Yeah. He's very versatile, so he has a lot of skills as well that lend himself to many different kinds of projects. But I think mostly he's just a people person, even though he's kind of quiet and does kind of struggle. I do think he's just very good at willing to work with different people. I would say that's one of his best traits.
What was it like having Kevin in your class?
Well, it was a lot. Kevin is someone that really cares about his work. I think he puts a lot of effort in, especially on the documentary. He would have multiple revisions of his documentary. He would, I think, lose sleep over them at times. But I think past that, Kevin and I had a very close relationship. Kevin came to me with a lot of things he had going on in his life. And as a teacher, that's one of the things that, believe it or not, I want you guys to come and tell me when you're going through things. That's a sign of a really good relationship, and there's a sign of trust there. Mm-hmm. So I would want all my students to know that you can come to me with everything going on, not always just radio, TV stuff, but it could be personal things. And I think Kevin opened up to me a lot about that stuff, and that, for me, just shows how much he appreciates me, but also what he thinks of me as his mentor and teacher, obviously. So that's obviously, it's humble to have a student that will come to you and trust you with those things.
Mm-hmm. What would you say Kevin's best skills are?
Kevin's best skills, they're editing. It was definitely editing. I think it still is editing. But I think we have to note how quickly he jumps into interview settings and does it now. Because if you had, referenced that 2 or 3 years ago, he'd be horrified to do interviews, and now I think he actually enjoys doing them. And I think a lot of it is you just get better at it the more and more you do. But I think now he's just more comfortable talking to people. Yeah. So I think the class has helped him a lot with that. Just getting more involved, doing things outside of school as well has helped him with that. So I've seen a lot of confidence in him, especially within the past year and a half.
What was one memorable thing that Kevin did that you will never forget?
So I would say when I saw him on that shoot, because I wasn't there the whole day, I was just kind of hovering around, but we were in a scene shooting the CMR, and he was just kind of sitting behind set. He was sitting next to a couple other people working on the set. And when I saw how happy he was just to be there, it made me very happy. Because I'm just like, these are the kind of experiences that I want to be providing for my students. We have another one coming up soon. And just seeing him so happy and so passionate. And then we got to just sort of sit and watch professionals act. We watched a very highly trained film crew. It's a nice moment to share because I didn't know Kevin very well. And then all of a sudden we had the opportunity to kind of be involved in something together that was pretty big. So that was pretty cool.
Now, what are some final things you want to say to Kevin before he graduates?
Well, Kevin, thank you for your time here. As always, we really value our seniors. I don't say it enough, but I rely a lot on seniors for a lot of different things. So just keep being polite, keep being a people person, keep opening up to people. That is your best trait. You're just a very welcome, warm and friendly person. I hope that you never lose that after you leave here, and I hope that you've enjoyed your time with me, with Mr. Holtzclaw, and in Radio TV.
That's sweet. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me, Mr. Hudson.
Thank you, Colton.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Next, we're going to go talk to Nathan.
Welcome back. My name is Alex Martin, and I'm here with Nathan Barngrover, a senior here, and we're going to talk about his experience in the radio and TV class. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing great. First off, Nathan, why did you join radio and TV?
The end of sophomore year, we had the opportunity to choose our classes, and since I was a sophomore, we had more classes open up for us, and radio TV was one of the top classes, and it says sports on the end of it. And I was like, I'm a big sports guy, so I got to get in this. And when I was doing that, my friend Eddie Mullins was sitting next to me, and we were looking through our classes with the counselor and all that, and we looked at each other, and I was like, you want to take radio, sports, TV with me? And we looked at each other like, yes. And so we took it. We were like, okay, we'll get into it. And so at the beginning of junior year, I expected, I was going to be in class with my best friend. I didn't get that opportunity, sadly. But I started with a bunch of freshmen, and I was the only junior in that class. And we started, and it was really hard for me at the beginning because I didn't really understand it really well. Mm-hmm. And we were working on our iPads on most part. 99% of my class was working on iPads. And so it was really hard to do stuff on that. So we had to edit, and the first project we did was about me project. And I had a lot of hair that day, and so when we were video recording, I had my hair up, and I was just talking in my iPad. I didn't know what to do, so I was just talking to my iPad. And that was really weird for the most part. And ever since then,
So why didn't you join your freshman year?
I had no idea this class existed. I'm sorry to the radio TV people. I had no idea this class existed. If I knew this class existed, I would have immediately take it. So I really wish that I could have gone back and knew this class, because it would have benefited me in a longer run, because this class really helped me with like talking to people. I was very like isolated myself, and this class opened up a lot for me. This class honestly changed my life, to be honest with you, because high school, I don't know high school without this class. This class actually changed my life.
Okay, so what was it like having the class with your best friend Eddie? Because you did end up.
I did end up him, and it was awesome. Like we knew like we were on it with projects and all that, and it was fun with working with him because like he knew me, so I knew him, and so we got things faster. We edited faster, and I like doing projects with him because he knows what I like and I know what he likes. So it's like a greater combination when we know what each other likes, and if I'm working with someone else, I have no idea. It's easier to work with your best friend, I feel like, than it is to work with a random stranger. Even though it's easier in the long run to work with a stranger than it is with your best friend.
Yeah, I get that. What are some of your favorite experiences you've had in high school in general?
This class, honestly, this class really changed my life, and then, ever since before I had this class, freshman, sophomore year, it was actually pretty boring, to be honest with you. I had no like big hype. There was no hype. There was no classes that I liked. It was like just regular algebra, algebra, English. I had culinary. I took culinary freshman, sophomore year, but it wasn't really my jam. But this is more my jam.
Is there anything you wish you could have changed when coming into high school? I kind of have a guess on what that answer is going to be.
Yes, coming in this class.
Yes.
I wish I should have came in this class sooner, and I wish, I met our teachers, Hudson and Holzcloth. They're really nice people. I'm telling you, they're some really nice people.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite project you've done in this class?
This year, it's a project where you make your own like sports related thing, like a broadcast type thing. You can make your own, and like it's related to like basketball, football, or whatever. It's like themed to what's going on in that season or that game. So like we talk about that game, and we like go to the football field or the baseball field, and we like act like it's like a real like ESPN type thing. So,
what would you say you wish the school could have done differently while being here at GC?
I wish that like promoting this class more. This class needs to be promoted a lot more. I think your English classes, your math classes, but like when you want a class that you need to get out and explore and like get out of your bubble, this is your class, and it needs to be more up and ramped so people can learn about this class.
I agree. And what are your thoughts on the class now from when you first joined?
I ain't gonna lie, my freshman year was terrible, terrible. I didn't know anyone. I was the outcast, and I felt weird. I was a weird person because my speaking voice isn't very much good, and so like when I did voiceovers and all that, it didn't really sound well. So I was like over like thinking of myself, and I was like, this class is not really it because like I have terrible voice, and it doesn't really sound good with the edits, but I like it.
Okay, and what are your plans for when you graduate?
I'm gonna become hopefully a plumber, but this class is teaching me like I can be on YouTube or a social network, and I'll be really good at like exploring and doing like my own podcast someday, because I really want to do that and talk about sports or other things around the world, because I really want to do a podcast. That'd be really cool for me.
And finally, do you have any advice for incoming freshmen who want to take this class or aren't even aware of this class?
If you know this class and you should take it. This is a very, very busy class. It's a busy class, and you want to go to this class. Like, some people don't want to come to school, but this class will motivate you to go to school because you know you're doing something each day. Like you know, like me and you right now, you know, we were doing this, and like on everyday basis in the school, you're just sitting there on a desk, you're just, you know, learning and all that. And this is more interactive, hands-on. Yeah. This is a hands-on class, and high school, you don't really get that. So I like this class because it's hands-on.
Well, BG, thank you for doing this with me. We're definitely going to miss you next year, and thank you guys for watching. Hi, I'm Alex Martin, and I'm here with Mr. Holtzclaw, and I'll be asking him some questions about Nathan Barngrover. How are you doing?
I'm swell. Alex, how are you doing?
Doing excellent. When Nathan first came into this class, what were your thoughts / expectations you had for him?
So for Nathan, he came in as a junior, so I thought he was going to be one of the leaders of the group. I thought he would be willing to kind of push people to exceed that way. Nathan definitely came in with the expectations of it being a little bit more of a relaxed class, and then he learned along the way. I mean, if you ask him, he would say that his work early on was not to the best of the abilities, and I was in agreement with that. But I mean, to his credit, he stuck with it. He's gotten better each and every time. I mean, starting from the first About Me project where it was just trying to learn the ins and outs of things, and he didn't really care as much, to now you see his work with a lot of different things where he almost puts too much pressure on himself at times to like make sure it's the best ability. And we've said that some of his work that he wants to do, he wants to see like the professional movie setup with our work. And we are very good, don't get me wrong, but we are not professionals out here with all of our equipment and all of our expertise. But I mean, it's just funny to see how he's gone from someone who at first did not care to someone who cares almost too much at times.
What would you say were some difficulties of having him be a junior for his first year with this class?
I think it's just along the lines of having people in your class that you want to know and relate to and talk to. Being a junior, it's obvious that he did not have like the people in his class that he thought he was going to have. He had a lot of the younger kids, and so in doing so, it was a two-way street of they kind of looked up to him and he didn't realize it, and then he also didn't have the familiarity by his side. Of course, he had like Eddie Mullins was his best friend, so he wanted to make sure that he was going to be in a class with him. Didn't work out that way initially on, but he was able to grow from there. He still created some good projects, worked with some good people. He got to work with like Dakota Hamilton, who's still in the program now, and they made some good stuff together when they were in the process with it. And then got to work with just a lot of different people. And so in doing so, you kind of get to see just how people are able to grow with unfamiliar surroundings and trying to figure their way out with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How would you say he's improved over the 2 years he's been in this class?
Definitely in terms of like trying more, for sure. I mean, like I said early on, it was just along the lines of just, can I get this done? And then kind of move on with it. Now it's like we said, he's tries his best. He really wants to get the best thing to come across. You heard him talking about to just Mr. Hudson just a little bit ago about the drone shot and how he's just like, oh, that drone shot wasn't that good. And he's saying it to Mr. Hudson, who's been doing this for 20 plus years and everything else, compared to Nathan, who's now in his second year doing it. So it's just funny to see that kind of stuff kind of go through with him. But I mean, obviously his camera work has been very solid. He's done some great work with like outside of class. He helped out with the baseball team this year, was able to film like a little post-game interaction stuff and interviews with those guys. He wanted to do an extra interview this semester with Parker Rhodes, which was really fun to see him kind of push himself and really try and go extra steps along the way. When we were filming like hype videos with like the basketball team, he kept trying to figure out a way to try and get like a smoke machine in there and like trying to get different things that we don't necessarily have on standby. Yeah. So it's just funny to see his effort levels and then his true caring about the class really just exceed and keep going forward from there.
What would you say is his best quality?
Along the lines of just the same way about how he cares a lot, it's probably his best care or his best quality about really trying to exceed or create the best product possible. He goes into things with like the expectation that this is going to be something that everyone's going to have to see, and that in the process I need it to be perfect. It's his best and worst quality because of the fact that he's a perfectionist with the work. Kind of going to like some more of those hype videos where like we get everything laid out. We have things set up, an order for like the basketball hype video. We know we want to do this with this shot here, incorporate it this way. And then after it's all done, we put it into the editor and whatever else, and he goes, I don't like this. We got to scrap it all. Yeah. Restart it all. And it's just, we don't have that kind of time, that kind of capability, funding for that matter, because, you know, we're not paying these guys to do this stuff. It's just in class work and we're just moving on for it, things like that. So it was just funny that he just goes through it like that. Same thing, I think we did like a football hype video, and he also had a certain layout that he wanted to do it, and then immediately he just goes, it's not what I want. We gotta try and restart it all. And it's like, I'm asking for it to be done the next day, and I'm just like, I think at this point, we got to stick with it. Or the same thing with like his documentaries. He knew he wanted to make great documentaries, and then he's like, this is an even better topic, and we're already halfway through scripting, and we've told him to stick with this one subject, and all of a sudden he's like, but this is going to be even better. And so we're just like, we got to calm down a little bit, BG. We just got to roll with this. We got to focus on this. And you know what? He makes good products when he gets it finally done. In the end, it's just getting him to just fully focus on that one and not want to just already thinking about the next project, next product, the next video idea in the process, just so that he can just focus in on that one idea and just put full forth effort into that, instead of just jumping into like, all right, we're working on this one, but what if we make it bigger and better? That whole thing.
So do you have any advice for him now that he's graduating and sort of going into the real world?
Yeah, I mean, just for one, be smart with money. We've heard some.
He definitely does.
We've heard some stories about his money issues.
$200 steaks.
Right. So like, be smart with money. Make sure that you are putting some money aside, things like that. And honestly, I mean, along the process, just have fun with it. You know, it's the real world. It's out there. I mean, it's a wake up call for a lot of people when they get out there. But he seems like a very independent man already. So like, being able to have that is already a good start. And he's already got some ideas on what he wants to do outside of high school, which is great to see, having that kind of initiative and ready to go. Don't get hung up on the little details, because he does do that from time to time, but just be willing to get still that best product available, because he obviously does great work when he really wants to and really tries and puts full forth effort. So I encourage him to continue to do that. I encourage him to put money aside. I encourage him to continue doing everything that he wants to do and that's going to make him happy in the process.
Okay. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Holtzclaw, and thank you for watching.
Welcome back. We'd like to send a special thank you to our seniors for all they've done in the program throughout the past few years.
And thank you for watching. Have a
Cougar-tastic day.
Want to learn more? Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and make sure to subscribe and smash that like button on YouTube for future videos.